K. So you can just like combo this. Hey guys, welcome back to another deck profile. Today I'm going to be showing you my Gold Paladin Ezel standard deck. So yeah, while this deck is not like super great, it's still a lot of fun, and I like Gold Paladin for some reason. So I'm going to show you my deck. So starting is our starter, Crimson Lion Cub Kirith, which is like awesome because it's just like every other starter, because it's when you ride on it, you get to draw a card. And it's Kirith. It's cute. Yeah. I'm just really happy for Gold Paladin to be back. On to the grade 3s. We're running 4 copies of Incandescent Lion Blonde Ezel. So this is a Ezel standard deck. So we're running 4 Ezel. So Ezel's skill is, when he's in your hand and you have Knight of Superior Skills, Bowmains, and Gareth on your Vienna rearguard circle, you can Soul Blast the Cure from your soul and ride this from your hand, and if your opponent's Vanguard is grade 2 or less, it gets dropped -1. So you can Superior Ride. You can get over Zombaku, probably, if you like are stunned Vanguard and you call Bowmains and Gareth, just ride from hand. Boom, you get over it. And then when it's on your Vanguard circle and it attacks, you can call a card from your hand to the rearguard circle. That gives you more attacks during the battle phase. So yeah, you want to run 4 of that so you can get that Superior right off and be superior than your opponent or something like that. 3 copies of Battlefield Storm Sagamore. So Sagamore's skill is when it's placed from hand, you Soul Blast 1, draw a card, and call a card from your hand to rear. So this is really important because you need to be able to proc off the effects of like Dindrain and Gareth in order to get their effects off, because there's not much superior calling from the deck anymore in standard. So you want to use Sagamore a lot. So I'm going to run 3 copies instead of 4. And the reason for that is because I really love this next card so much that I'm running 3 copies of it, which is Mock Slash Dragon. Now I know a lot of people are like, Richard, just play the Pelennor deck. That's the Mock Slash deck. Well, you know, I do have the Pelennor deck, but like, I just want to put Mock Slash in my Ezel deck because I like Mock Slash. Mock Slash Dragon's skill is when it attacks Vanna rearguard circle, you counter blast 1, call a card from your hand to the rear, and this unit gets +5k. So you can just like combo this with like everything else. You combo this and you can call out Sagamore, which can call out another thing. You can combo this to call out Tornus. You can combo this just to call out another attack. So the whole point of my deck is just to be like being super aggro and just like constantly attacking my opponent. So, and what happens a lot of the times is I was originally running like 2 copies and like 4 of this, is people would keep killing this. And I'd be like, well, I guess that's the only like thing for the rest of the game because, you know, the other one's in my deck somewhere. So I like the 3 because like usually if one dies, I'll have like another one in my hand, hopefully. And if that one dies, I'll get the 3rd copy maybe. I was doing this where I had 4 copies of Mock Slash and 2 Sagamore to like max out my Mock Slash. But there would be a few times where like Mock Slash would be the only grade 3 in my hand for writing, and be like, I don't want to write this. So I toned it down to balance it out. So like Sagamore is my backup ride, and then Mock Slash is like the helping me in multi-attack. So really, really, really good card, Mock Slash Dragon. So where are we at? We're on to the grade 2s. So we're running 4 copies of Bowmains. So Bowmain's skill is when it's placed on Vanna rear, you counterblast. You discard a card from your hand, search your deck for Gareth, and call it and shuffle your deck. And on rearguard circle, if this was placed by an ability, it gets 3k. So really nice that Bowmain just gives you Gareth for the most part. That was kind of cool of Bushi to do. So makes the superior ride for Ezel like way easier because you just get Gareth. You just ride Gareth, ride Bowmains, call out Gareth. Since you have Cure from the Soul and you have Ezel in hand, you get the superior ride. So for the most part, you want to have Bowmains in your hand, kind of similar to the premium build. So Bowmains is a really good card. The 3k is also nice against Protect and Excel clans, where like you can swing for 12 or 22 if this is on Excel circle. If this is called by Sagamore's effect or Ezel's effect, you can get both skills off, which is nice. So definitely want to run 4 on this. Next up for grade 2s, I am running 4 copies of Tornus. So Tornus' skill is if your soul has 1 card, it gets 3k, and if your soul has 0 cards, this gets 8k. So with 1 soul, 12k attacker. With no soul, 17k attacker by itself. So kind of similar to the Pelennor deck, but also like with Ezel's problem too is that you go through your soul so fast in this deck. You have Dindrain, you have Ezel, you have Sagamore, you have just a bunch of things that soul blast. So you want to take advantage of the fact that you have no soul. That sounded really dark for a second. You want to take advantage of that so that you can swing with these really big beaters. And since you run 4, and the best part is it's during your opponent's turn as well. It's just continuous. So during your own turn, it's a 17k like beat stick that your opponent has to get over. And if it gets retired, you run 4, so you can get more copies. I like to combo this card off with Mock Slash, where like I'll have like a card I don't really care about, and then I'll attack with Mock Slash and then call this over that unit, and just keep doing that. And I know that's kind of like what the Pelennor deck does too, but with Ezel, you can just basically do that even more. You can just call something, attack, use this to call out another Tornus, you can use this to call out another Tornus. You're just basically trying to beat down your opponent with a lot of numbers and a lot of attacks. So for sure I want to be running 4 this card. And last but not least, 3 copies of Vivian. I'm not running 4 copies, although 4 is pretty good because you can use it on Van or Rear. I'll just get into the skill first and I'll explain why later. So the skill is Van or Rear when this is placed. Count blast 1, soul blast 1. Look at 3 cards from the top of your deck. Call a card from among them, put the rest on the bottom, and it gets 3k. So this is a soul blast, which means that by the time you're out of soul, this card is a vanilla, and there's no soul charge engine other than rewriting in this deck. So I limited it to 3 because I feel like the max I'll use is like 2, but I also want to see it. So if I don't have Bowmains, I still have Vivian to ride to start filling my field. So that's my reason for running that. My reason for not running Lop-Ear Shooter is because the card calls itself after drive checks, and it's just kind of weird to me. I might test out with 1 copy, but I was testing it out before, and the card was just kind of weird for me. So on to the grade 1s. We're running 4 copies of Gareth, so call it out with Bowmains, so we need 4 copies of Gareth too. So Garrett's skill is when it's placed by a card effect, this gets count plus 1, and you can give it 10k. So you call it out with Bowmains, that's the card effect. Count plus 1, give it 10k. Sagamore, Mock Slash, Ezel, any of these card effects where they come from somewhere other than just normally calling it, you can use the skill. Same with Vivian because it doesn't say from hand, so you can do it from deck as well. So plus 10k is really helpful with pushing for higher numbers. Next up is one of my favorite cards in this deck, which is Evil Slaying Swords with Haugen. So Haugen's skill is basically kind of like pseudo OTT for this deck. Basically like letting you reveal the top or look at the top card of your deck. So its skill is when your Vanguard's attack hits, Van or Rear, so that means itself. You can look at the top card of your deck and you may call it. As long as its grade is less than or equal to your Vanguard. And if you do call it, you have to retire a Haugen on your rearguard circle. So the way this works is because the way of wording in Vanguard rules is that if I ride this and I swing with it and it hits, I look at the top card, let's say it's Dindrain, right? So I can call Dindrain, and then I can still call it even though I don't have a Haugen on my rear. Because it says if I do, I have to retire target afterwards. So it's not suggesting that I need one on the rear prior to calling the unit. So Haugen is really good in that regard, where like you can still use this skill if you don't have one on the rear when you're on the Vanguard circle. And also it's really good as a rear guard in general, where when your Vanguard attack hits, you get to reveal the top card and be like, oh, I don't want to call that. You can put it back. So I really like Haugen a lot, so that's why I'm running 4 copies. And then, last but not least, Dindrain. So Dindrain, 4 copies. is when it's placed by a card ability, you can pick one of the two abilities, which is either Soul Blast 1 draw or Soul Blast 1 to counter charge and get 3K. So you cannot get 3K if you draw, but like I said, this deck goes through Soul a lot, so it's like just place it from card ability, Soul Blast, get that counter charge from Mach Slash, or get that draw to like make your hand not suck, because you go through hand really quickly in this deck. Yeah, so Din Drain also helps empty the soul for Tornus, so I really do like that a lot. So I'm definitely keeping my Din Drains. So that was it for the green ones. Onto the triggers. I do feel like the standard Gold Paladin is more of a front trigger kind of deck, so I'm running 8 fronts. When I was testing the deck with crits, I would feel like the crit would show up, but the units would be so weak that wherever I put the crit on, it would be easily guardable, so the crit made no pressure, other than like if my opponent said no guard and I got the crit. That was basically it. So I like the fronts a lot, because it makes all of my units that were originally weak have a lot more power, and it makes the multi-attacking a lot harder for my opponent to deal with, and they kind of feel like they either have to waste their hand or they just have to start taking stuff. So I'd rather maximize the amount of fronts that I would see to kind of like guarantee that if I call stuff down and I see a front, there's still a chance I could see a front, and that this could be a big play for me. Again, Gold Paladin is not really the best deck in standard format right now, so I'm trying to make the best I can with what I've got. So 4 draw PGs, because draw PGs are really good and draw triggers are really good. I'm not running the vanilla draw. Like, I know I said that the deck has a hand problem, but I really need to see the fronts for the most part. So I'm trying to run as much front triggers as I can, because I really want to push for those big field numbers in my front row. So, but the 4 draw PGs is still really nice. And last but not least, because I'm not balls to the walls, I'm running 4 heals instead of 4 crits. If you really want to go and try it out, you can take out the heals in your deck and just run crits and see how that goes for you, and just be like, because you don't need to heal if you're planning to win, right? So try that out if you want. But I'm running 4 heals just so I don't die. That's it for the standard deck. That was pretty quick. Last but not least, Excel markers. I do have fun with this deck, despite its like weird hand thing going on, where there's like not much going on with calling from the deck and how you use your hands so much. Running the other grade 2s what's their face? Nemean Lion and Lopier is kind of weird for me, because Nemean Lion only works for 1 turn. He's mostly there for shield value, and running Lopier Shooter means I have to take out another grade 2 or drop down Mach Slash Dragons, which is kind of weird for me, because I feel like Mach Slash Dragon is just a better Lopier, because it's already on the board, and instead of Lopier calling itself, you can use Mach Slash to call anything you want. So, instead of being limited to just Lopier, I'd rather run Mach Slash that lets me call anything I want, With Mach Slash, anything becomes a Lopier at that point, And it also lets me, figure out what order I want to do it in, where Lopier is strictly after your Vanguard attacks. So, I kind of like the way my build is right now, but that's pretty much it, guys. Thanks for watching this video. Let me know what you guys think for this build. If you have any suggestions or comments, you can, go ahead and do your thing. Nothing's stopping you. Excuse me. Alright, that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching. I'll see you all next time.
Aloha YouTube, it's your boy, Gabe, back at yeah, so we got a deck. And, it's apparently good now, which is wild. Made it. Unit's finally tier 1, I guess, so, we don't have that promo yet, which is tilting, but, you know, we'll get it soon, because it's the shop promo, so, we got Broccolini Musketeer Kiron because it's the only starter we have. I don't know if you know what a V-starter does. When you ride upon it, you draw a card. What riding is you take a card, and you put it on top of it. When you do this, you draw a card. That's called a +1 in a card game nomenclature. So yeah, this is the only starter we have. On to grade 3s, running 2 copies of Cecilia, 1 copy of Cecilia, and 1 copy of Cecilia. So, I'm probably going to max rarity this deck out, and when I say max rarity, I mean these are going to be ultra rare rares, but not the rainbow one, because getting the hot stamp is $100 cheaper if you just get it pink, so I want that. Cecilia is a really good card. Counterboss 1, you retire something, check top 5, call 2, but if you have a grade 3 in Soul, you can call 3 instead and your front row gets 10k. So you can just beat the shit out of your opponents while going +1 to +2 to +4, which is dope. She's cool against Murakumo because if they do the full Vanguard lock, then you could still call things. And if you were able to get a grade 3 in Soul, you could give them 10k, so you could still do a lot of shit even while your Vanguard's stuck, which is dope. She's a great card. Honestly, URRs are probably, with no question, my favorite rarity in the game. The zoom in is outstanding. The borderless, outstanding. The pink like ad framing, beautiful. I'm not a huge fan of hot stamps, but it's really not a